Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It's my pleasure to be with you most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central, where we talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Our 501c3 nonprofit has a dual mission. The first mission is to improve financial literacy, but business financial literacy, to help entrepreneurs understand what it means to have a fundable business. And then secondly, to be able to use that knowledge to access capital, to start, to grow, to reach their potential. We have the pleasure of working with many distribution partners, like many of yourselves. Thank you for joining us this morning live or listening to it recorded at a later time. As we continue to try to just hit the nail on the head, what is the best way for us, you and I, what is the best way for us to go educate people? We had launched previously the workshops. And so when we say workshop, if you go to 509pacific.org, the navigation bars in the bottom, we call it the entrepreneurship program, free entrepreneurship funding program. And it's broken into 4 weeks. Now I kind of wish we didn't call it weeks. We should have called it 4 modules, because we're wanting people to have the ability to go through on demand if they wish, versus waiting one topic a week for 4 weeks. Therefore, our board approved, and we made some revisions to the website overnight that I wanted to get you up to speed with, and it makes a material difference, makes it much easier for you to use this tool now. So just as before, the 4 weeks are still spelled out, laid out here. We have made a little bit of enhancements to the descriptions to better help the participant or prospective participant understands what they're going to learn, what they're going to receive. So that's change number 1. There's some enhanced descriptions. Number 2 is we're providing access to all 4 modules on demand. So we've talked about, and I'll bring the agenda back up. We've been talking about on-demand workshops. And so this is great when you have someone that you have, most likely you've asked them the pre-qualifying question. Are you looking for funding to start or grow a business? And then if they said yes, most likely what you've done is you've calculated their fundability score. We've had separate trainings on that. That's related to the SBA checklist. That's not our goal today, but we've had some really good training on that. So if you are one of our distribution partners, you really need to be competent and confident in doing the evaluations, the assessments. That's the most important thing you can do. It's not to teach someone something or to sell someone something. It's to be able to take your prospects that have answered yes to the initial question, are you looking for funding to start or grow a business, and take them through this, because this quantifies their fundability score on a 0 to 6 basis, 6 being the highest. And in fact, we need a 6 to go to funding. Not our topic today, just trying to set you up for what do we do then? Well, many of those individuals may decide to go ahead and enroll with you. So you're able, as a white label partner, to get them under contract for what we call the 4-week funding program. They contract with you, they pay you. It is a refundable deposit, so they get that back from their grant. But the bottom line is, as a white label partner, you're in control of that. For some of you aren't very good closers. And so if you're not a good closer, then you could feed into the education, because what we know is once people have gone through the educational curriculum, the 4 modules, we have right at a 91% conversion rate. So now we're to this point. The on-demand workshops, it's now very simple. They're literally available, all 4 modules right here. The registration is also here, and they've added a new field, referred by. So let's look at 2 different approaches to how to handle the on-demand workshops, and we'll make a little space, and we'll do scenario 1, and then we'll come down here and we'll do scenario 2. So scenario one is great if it's going to be the easiest, and you essentially just refer them to this page because it's set up, it's ready to go. So I'll just copy and paste that. Get rid of the asterisk. So scenario one is where you just simply take your prospects and just have them come here because they have access to the 4 modules. They need to register at some point. You might say, well, why do they have to register if they already have access to the modules? Well, what do you remember? The key of what we do, which is stated here in red, is to teach them what they need to know and then help them apply it, right? So sure, anyone could come without ever registering, without us knowing who they are, without being linked to you, and go through the modules, which is fine. As a nonprofit, we've received a grant. We need to provide open access to our educational curriculum. It's mandated by the grant. So yes, we're doing that. We used to not have module 4, but now they're all there. And that's fine, because what do we know? Once a person understands what it really takes to be fundable, and I should say, if you've not gone through these 4 modules, kind of shame on you. You probably should. But once they've gone through that, now they know, okay, I understand what it takes to have a fundable business. Now, hopefully you kind of set them up for success back here when you did the checklist with them. But even if you didn't do the checklist with them, once they've gone through the educational curriculum, they're going to understand. But that doesn't magically fix everything, right? You could learn it, but you have to do it. And so that's where we provide a funding advisor to work with them to apply what they've learned. Well, to access the one-on-one, they're going to need to register. So it's okay if anyone goes to view, but to implement, they're going to need to register. So scenario one is just this. It's ready to go. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to do anything. It's here. Do I think that scenario one is the best? Maybe not. So scenario two is where you will just say provide the prospect access to the training. So that could be as simple as, because you have it all here. You could put this information on your website and drive them to your website. So when they register, you're immediately contacted. You could just have a form that has this information where it connects you more strategically. I think that's ideal, but I know a lot of you, well, I shouldn't say a lot, some of you just, you don't have any technological capacity or willingness. So we needed to provide a real easy approach. Here it is, plugged and played, ready to go. But what you could very well do is take this information, put it on your website or on your landing page, or where you're the conduit for them to receive this information. So that makes it personalized to you and puts you in the flow of communication. So it's okay. You can do either one. As of today, we're open for business on scenario one. It is ready to go. It is ready to go. If someone needs help, and AJ mentioned to build a website, so scenario two is more, and let's go ahead and add that. So this is more complicated because in general, you'll need a website. Now we can provide we can set up a website for you. We got an intern, he does a great job. And so we could create a website. So it's your branding on the website. The form goes to you instead of to us. So we could certainly do that, but it's just a more complicated approach. But at least we know for on demand, we've made it simpler. I think we've made it better. You can refer people here. They can access the modules. There's no cost. They can complete at their own pace. They still get the one-on-one assistance. We can still help them be fundable in less than a month. Once they fill out this form, Madison, our workshop coordinator, and Madison's on the training this morning. Good morning, Madison. Will reach out to them. So turnkey is ready to go. Plug and play. Here we go. If you wanted a more personalized approach, we'll call that scenario 2. Essentially, same information, same content, but you're getting that content over on your platform. That's the difference. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So now let's look at, so this was on-demand workshops. I think we've improved that. We've made it simpler. There's no barriers now. We're ready to go. If you have anyone that is not signed up, if you have anyone that you've talked to that's not convinced, not financially literate, whatever, anything other than the fact that if they've not enrolled with you in the 4-week funding program, I would be driving them to this, because there's a 9 out of 10, 91% chance that if they'll do this, they'll end up signing with you. Okay? So their scenario, or not scenario, but reverse that. That's on-demand workshops. In person. I was talking to Dr. Smith. Let's see if she's on this morning. She's not. She's a doctor, and she lives in the Pacific time zone, so she's not up this early, probably. So she's getting ready to set up a workshop. So we learned through some interaction with her how to do it better. So in-person workshops, this is an alternative. So you could do this, or you could do this. We need to do one of the two, because we need to educate people. Because if we educate people, 91% will enroll with you. But if you don't educate, you're going to have a lower close rate, most likely. All right, so for in-person workshops, you're the go-to person. You're the coordinator, the facilitator, whatever label you want to put. You don't have to teach the material, which I'll get to in a moment. You don't have to teach the material. But here, when we're talking in person, this is in person. Imagine a group of people all in one place in a room, in person. So if you want to schedule in-person workshops like Dr. Smith and like a number of others of you, you need to find a host, right? Because the host is the church, the chamber, the accountant, the bookkeeper, the business organization. It's some person, entity, or organization that has a sphere of influence, and they typically have the room to go conduct this in. So if you want to do in-person workshops, great. You're the coordinator, you're the facilitator, and you find the host and you work out the logistics, because it's going to be you there at the in-person, not us. There's no way that we can travel the globe or travel the country and do as many workshops as you all are setting up. So the way that we've modeled this is, as long as you can be there, then it'll work. So you're going to facilitate the workshop. You would be there. You would call the meeting to order. You would welcome everyone. You're creating a relationship with them, but you don't have to teach the material. You're going to play the on-demand videos. And so if they have questions, you can pause it, you can interact with them, but it takes the burden away from you of having to teach the material. So you're in front of them, and it's kind of a hybrid approach, quite frankly. So it's real. Their butts are in the seats in front of you. They're getting to know you. They're trusting you, developing a relationship. But the 4 modules are on demand. So it's kind of a hybrid, I guess. So we even call it that. Because there's just no way logistically we could travel everywhere and do as many workshops as you are setting up. So this allows us to replicate ourselves, but still provides more of a personalized approach. So, of course, just like with the on-demand workshop, and as stated in the red up here, we want to teach them the material, but then we want to help them apply that. And so that's where they're going to schedule their one-on-ones. So if it's the on-demand, their one-on-ones get scheduled by doing this. They fill this out, and then Madison, the workshop coordinator, will reach out to them and schedule their one-on-one. So that's how it happens on the on-demand. If you're doing it face-to-face, then you're the one helping them schedule their one-on-ones, because you're there in front of them. I mean, what better time? Now, you could, of course, go ahead and enroll them in the fee-based program, or just simply help them schedule their one-on-ones so we can apply what they've learned. And of course, Madison's here to help you. So I'm gonna dive into registrations because I see Eric and a couple of you are asking about how do we handle registrations. So I'll come back to that. But is everyone clear on the two scenarios? So Jeff's asking about the 4 weekly sessions. So sure, we can still do the 4 weekly sessions, and we have a number of those on the books already, but we're having problems getting people to commit to go into all 4. They're dropping off. I don't think because there's a lack of interest. It's just getting them to get on the schedule for 4 consecutive weeks has been a bit of a problem. So what are we doing? We're offering the on-demand so they can access the modules at their own convenience, and or doing the in-person. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now registrations, and that's the question I often get. How do people register? Well, there's 2 different answers. So how do people register for the on-demand workshop? Well, it's right here, isn't it? It's right here. Now, again, if you want to do scenario 2, then they'll register with you on your website. And again, we can create a website for you. It can be kind of a hybrid landing page. It'll have your logo at the top. It'll have this information, and then essentially the form will feed to you. But in either case, on-demand workshops registration happens through the form. How does registrations occur for the in-person workshops? And I'm going to say this, and it's what Dr. Smith and I battled on for about an hour yesterday, and she came to the conclusion it's the right answer. So I don't know that you'll like it, but I believe it's the right answer. So hear me out. So let's say that you want to set up an in-person workshop. You have a host, a church, chamber, whomever. And so then you figure out when you want to have it because it's going to be you there, not us. And so then it's promoted out to the church's congregation or the chamber's membership, whatever that sphere of influence is. But the question is, well, how do they register? How do they register? Do they come here to register? Absolutely not. Here's the best way for them to register, and we'll make it a separate topic. Best practice for in-person workshop registrations. Now, this is going to shock you, and I don't think you're going to like it, but if you hear me through, I think you'll agree, just like Dr. Smith finally did, it's the best way. You want them to text you. Like, what? Why would I want 20 people or 30 people or 100 people to text me? Why would I want that? Well, slow down here, Tonto. You're the coordinator of the workshop. Your goal is to create a relationship with these people. And what I'd like you to do is that when they contact you and say, hey, yeah, I want to register for that workshop that's coming up at Main Street Baptist Church. How do I do that? You would welcome them. You would develop a relationship. And then what are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, great. We can definitely get you registered. One of the things that we're going to do first is determine your fundability score. I just need about 5 minutes. So then what you're doing is you're blending in the fundability score before you register them. So let's go back to this. So they text you, and then you contact them and conduct fundability score analysis. Now, if you're thinking, well, man, that sounds like a lot of work. I'd rather just have a website and send it to them. What's your end goal? Your end goal is to create a relationship with these individuals, help them gain the knowledge, but also to make money. And you're going to make money by them enrolling in the fee-based 4-week funding program. Now, if you wanted to delegate this to someone on your team, you can, but this is probably the most important interaction, because now essentially what you've created is this stream of not warm, but hot leads contacting you. So many of you say, I need leads. This is a great way to generate leads, but you need to handle the leads properly. So they text you, And then what do? You call them back, right? You talk to them and you say, hey, great, I'm Dr. Smith. I'm excited you're interested in the upcoming funding workshop. I'm here to get you registered. Just need about 5 minutes of your time. We're going to create a fundability score so we know kind of what your baseline is. And you go through that scripting. Once you do that, you have a really good chance that a lot of the people will want to progress automatically into the fee-based program in addition to going through the educational curriculum. So remember, our educational curriculum doesn't compete with clients enrolling and paying you. This is the educational part. The implementation part comes from them enrolling with you in the fee-based 4-week funding program. So with that, let's open it up for questions. Who has questions or concerns on the difference between on-demand and in-person? Anyone want to debate a little bit the best practice of registration? So it's so different than so many of you. So many of you think, well, I need a registration link. I need a registration link. You don't need a registration link. You need people to talk to you because they need to know you. They need to trust you if they're going to enroll. So make it convenient. Have them text you, and then you call them back when you have a moment and you do that analysis. So you'll know them so well. They can still go through the educational curriculum, and you're just increasing your probability of conversion because you've connected with them. It's real people connecting with you versus just a website and forms. All right, so let's go through the questions. Frederick says, if I have 100 people come to this website and they register, so he's talking about the on-demand version. How will we know? Yeah. So I guess that he might have typed that before I explained. So there is the referred by field, but I do agree with your Frederick. I think with where you're going, the better scenario is scenario 2. We can create a replicated website similar to this. Your logo has a description and it drives people in, and it's your website. The form feeds to you. The contact information is your information. So I would agree that's best. But Frederick, you're different than some of our folks. Some of our folks don't have websites. They don't understand technology. It's a real barrier. So scenario 1 is ready to go. We have no excuses. Let's start rolling. Any of you that need help with scenario 2, reach out and let us know. Okay, so that was Frederick's question. All right, AJ has a question. Yeah, so he's asking on the refundable deposit. That's correct. So people that enroll in the 4-week funding program, so we can pull that up here. So the way that you monetize this is as a white label partner, you enroll people in the 4-week business funding program. So this is the implementation side set up on 4 weeks where we have the deliverables, and the deliverables are summarized here. So clients will pay you as a white label partner to enroll into the implementation side. The education's free. But if they want help with the implementation, then they enroll and they pay you. You determine how much you want to be paid. Most of you are charging $2,000. We do a 50-50 split of that. We do all the implementation. You essentially get $1,000 for generating the client. And then when they go to funding, we do a 50-50 split. You determine what the performance fee is. Most of you are charging between 10 to 20%. So you're making anywhere from 5 to 10% on the back end. You're in control of the pricing. But AJ's question, I think, was how do they get? So they enroll with him, they pay the $2,000, they get that $2,000 back after they've gone to funding. So the grant will reimburse essentially the cost to get them prepped based upon them completing the program and going to funding. All right, and Frederick says we covered it. AJ is interested in getting his own website, scenario 2. So I guess we'll just go ahead and call this. So this is your website, and this is the 509 website option. So maybe if we label it that way, it makes really good sense. But some of you already have websites, and if you already have a website, go back to this page. If you already have a website, you could put this information on your website. You wouldn't have to create a new one. All right, so Claude says we've addressed the desired path of least resistance mindset. Nice. Yeah, thank you, Claude. And that's what we want to do. We want to make it easy. So I think we're out of excuses of why any of us cannot help people get the education that they need to know how to have a fundable business. It's on demand. They can access it whenever they want. They don't even have to register to access it. They can go through them in whatever order. But again, the key is not just the information, it's applying that information. They will need to register for us to help them apply that. So that way we get the grant allocation. All right, let's see. Claude says the on-demand referral box is taking the place as an affiliate page. Is that right? Well, most of you are not affiliates. Most of you are white label partners. And if you're not a white label partner, you can become one here on this page. And as a white label partner, you get set up here. You'll have your own client agreement. So just trying to answer Claude's question. The affiliate program is not our focus. The focus is our white label partnership because it puts you in a position of face-to-face interaction with the clients, and it gives you more control on everything with the client, including control on the fee schedule, how much money you make, how much they pay. So I'm not sure how to answer that, but we're trying to give you tools to make it simple. So here, if you're just not good at anything, but you want to make money, you want to help people, promote this curriculum, drive them in here, and we'll take care of the rest. I mean, it's just that easy. So I guess from Claude's perspective, yeah, I guess this is almost the equivalent of an affiliate program. However, normally with an affiliate program, you would have your own page whereby it's linked hard-coded to you. That would be the difference, I guess. Okay, AJ wants to have a quick one-on-one. Sounds good to me. And yeah. So anyone that needs individualized assistance, nothing's changed. You got our phone number here. So I agree with what Makalani and AJ seems to insinuate, which is, pull this back up, that scenario 2, I think is the best. It is the best. You have your own page, has this information on it, it's branded to you. You're directly in the information flow. I don't dispute that. I think that is best. But we also needed easiest, fastest, most convenient option. And this one is ready to go. Madison's on the Zoom now. She'll be off of the Zoom here in 2 minutes, along with the rest of us. And she's ready to start processing your deals. So all you got to do is get them over here. All right. So with that being, okay, looks like Bernard's asking a good question, and I didn't cover this. So Bernard, thank you as usual for keeping me in line. So if you have so let's say you're doing scenario 1 and you refer someone over here. Obviously, it's good if you put them in, and you could put their information in, because it's not a contract, it's not committing them to anything, but it's the tracking. So then what will happen? This form will go to our workshop coordinator, and then she'll reach out to them. And what is she going to do? She's going to encourage them to do this, which of course they could have done it anyway, but she's going to encourage them. She's going to be that point of contact. So I think what Bernard's saying is right. If you have leads and you're looking for, I guess, the most hands-off model, now you have a way to do that. And yes, you could pop in the leads yourself. So this is not the same as those landing pages we've talked about before that created a series of texts and such. This is, they'll come in here, and then a real person is going to call and encourage them to participate. Because what do we know? 9 out of 10, a little bit better than that, but 9 out of 10 of the people that do the education will turn around and enroll with you, because the tools and the resources that are included in the fee-based program, number one, it's free. It's free in the end. They have to pay the refundable deposit, but it's often what they need. So for example, if they're needing seed capital, they get that here, not with the free program. The free address we're providing here, not with the free program. Filing with the state's free here, not with the free program. We're transferring them collateral. They don't get that with the free program. So you can see that we're providing the tools and resources for implementation here. So it's not that the education is competing with your revenue. It's instead the education makes a remarkably effective funnel for you to move people from hesitancy, lack of commitment, or lack of trust to enrolling 9 out of 10 times. Frederick says the referred by should be a mandatory field because he's right, the little asterisk not there. But you got to remember, this is our website, right? And so some people come here and they've not been referred by anyone. So this is the easy solution. I encourage you all to consider scenario 2, where it's your own website. And then, yeah, we can control those things. You know, if you wanted different fields, you wanted them required or optional, that's your website. Our website has to be a bit more general because it's our website, not yours. All right, so with that being said, you know how to reach us by phone or email. We will not have a Zoom tomorrow, traveling tomorrow. No Zoom tomorrow, back Monday. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.